That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Nobody 2, the 9th film directed by Timo Tjahjanto. And that's including the 3 films he directed when he was co-directing as part of the Moe Brothers. Notably, this is his English language debut, and it is, of course, a sequel to the 2021 film Nobody. Universal is releasing it August 15th, 2025.
Do I know another film from this director?
No, he's Indonesian. I believe I reviewed a film he did called Killers back in 2014, which I thought was interesting. He also did May the Devil Take You and its sequel, etc.
What is Nobody 2 about? Suburban dad Hutch Mansell, a former lethal assassin, is pulled back into his violent past after thwarting a home invasion, setting off a chain of events that unravels secrets about his wife Becca's past and his own. This makes it seem a lot more vague than it is. What is your pull quote?
Nobody 2 expands upon the violent revelry of its predecessor in ways which suggest it's like National Lampoon's bid for a Death Wish-styled vigilante franchise. But through all the carnage and mayhem, Odenkirk remains charming, even as a bloodthirsty keeper of the flame.
Mine. Sticking close to the winning formula of its predecessor, Nobody 2 proves that the family that slays together stays together.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed this film, so I hadn't heard of Nobody. So we watched it a couple of days ago and reviewed it for our podcast coming out after this video drops. So I just recently watched Nobody. Spoiler, I really liked that film. And this one, to me, is even better. By, a notch.
Well, it seems a lot more sober and clear-headed in ways which Nobody, the first film with Odenkirk, we had to kind of dance around. What exactly is his history and why is he doing this? And his family felt kind of superfluous. This seems to be jumping right into where the other one left off and going from there and expanding upon the universe, giving Connie Nielsen more things to do. So I think just for those facets, I enjoyed it a little bit more.
So in the last film, we learn Hutch, Bob Odenkirk's character, is an auditor for the feds, basically an assassin. And in the last film, he ends up burning up hundreds of millions of dollars of Russian mob money. So in this film, we learn that he now is back in the game trying to pay off the debt that the organization paid for him, meaning that they recoup the money that the Russian mob people lost.
And we learned that through the character named The Barber, played by Colin Salmon.
But it's also clear now that the entire in the last film, it was not clear to me if Hutch's wife, Becca, played by Connie Nielsen, knew what he was doing. In this film, it seems a little more clear that she might have known before the events of the last film. But in this one, there's a similar issue, which is their life has become mundane, except that now, instead of him going to his boring job every day, he's going to kill people every day. So she feels like her marriage is being neglected and the children are being neglected. And it seems like maybe she's going to drop a bomb on him. Maybe, because she types a text to him saying we need to, the dreaded we need to talk text. But she doesn't send it. But it's clear he senses maybe something's not right. So he goes, we're going to take a vacation. And he just kind of randomly it's not random, but he picks a place called Plummerville, which is an amusement water park, but it's it's the original water park, someplace random. And the reason he chooses it is because that was the one and only vacation he took with his dad and his brother, who are played by Christopher Lloyd and RZA.
What was that George Romero film?
I'll have to post it. So they go, and things immediately are a problem. And then we realize that the city of Plummerville is a hub for trafficking. And the main villain trafficking stuff through Plummerville is Sharon Stone.
Lendina.
Who is a pleasure.
Yes.
Well, more like a beautiful nightmare. But anyway.
Or is it a sweet dream?
Yeah.
Or a nightmare?
So just like the last film, it all culminates in Hutch setting up a situation where he can defeat the villain, this time at the amusement park. Of course he does, and all's well that ends well.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And instead of a cat at the end, we end up with this
wolf
dog instead of a bus.
It's a boat.
It's a boat.
Yeah, so it's the same formula.
Yeah, well, we have the same returning screenwriter Derek Kolstad of John Wick fame, and joined by Aaron Rabin on the script this time.
we do sort of illuminate the idea that maybe Connie Nielsen's character, Hutch's wife, might have also been in the game. Because there's like a mini showdown between her and Sharon Stone. And it's clear that Becca is no stranger to a firearm. But her profession is, a realtor and a mother. So, I assume that maybe she had been an auditor. Yeah.
That kind of brings it into True Lies territory a little bit, which I didn't not appreciate. Hutch seems so adept at the ultraviolence. I kept thinking that he's kind of like the comedic version of A Clockwork Orange.
I really like Bob Odenkirk in this role.
I do too, but I mean, he's a problem straight up too.
Well, there are several memorable scenes. The first one is that when they get to Plummerville, they are not able to ride the rides because there's something going on. So they're given like a coupon for free hot dogs. And that's where we meet Colin Hanks.
Yes, who introduces himself as the sheriff, even though...
He's like the deputy sheriff.
He's not really in charge yet.
But it's clear that he's a problem and he wants to give Hutch a problem. But Hutch is able to de-escalate. And then they go to an arcade and there are some bullies there who are picking on Brody.
His son.
I have to say, the actor playing Brady, looks a lot like Connie Nielsen. Like
Gage Monroe.
Like he could actually be her son. But there are some bullies who pick on him. And then the manager of the arcade is kind of being unfair towards Brady. What's his name? Brady. Hutch has to de-escalate. And as they're walking out, that arcade manager slaps Hutch's daughter. And I gasped because at this, and Nobody 2, we already know that Hutch will kick some ass.
Well, the real catalyst of the first Nobody is the daughter's missing bracelet after the house is burglarized.
And in this one, it's that this arcade manager kind of slaps his daughter. And so it's going to be a problem. And the wife tries to stop him and they all leave. And he's like, wait, I forgot my cell phone. Let me go back. And he goes back and whoops everybody's ass. I thought that was a really fun start. It's also important to know Christopher Lloyd, the father, like grandpa, he joins them on the trip. But he's very peripheral.
He is. I thought the funniest bit is really when he's not he's not in the scene where Bob Odenkirk's like, oh, we're going to bring Grandpa, and Connie Nielsen's face is like...
Great.
That reminded me of my mother.
Then you already mentioned this, but a scene similar to the bus scene in Nobody is now that Colin Hanks' character has Hutch on his radar for being kind of like a nuisance because he beat up the arcade manager. And this young guy, the bully, is the real sheriff's son. So Colin Hanks' character decides that he's going to get some of his boys to rough up Hutch, who he thinks is just some basic dad.
And the real sheriff, John Ortiz, who is very upset that his son's arm was injured, even though his
pitching arm.
Yeah. Basically tells Bob Odenkirk, don't let the sun go down on you in my town.
So they go the next day on a duck ride.
A duck boat.
A duck boat, which is supposed to be some military boat, but now it's been updated to just be a basic ferry ride.
With the duck on it.
And Colin Hanks and his goons come to beat up Hutch. And of course, Hutch whoops everyone's ass. I thought that was a really good scene. In the process, Hutch gets his pinky cut off.
Yeah, the tip gets cut off and a big fish eats it.
That's when we learn that the sheriff is corrupt and that he's running all this stuff through his town.
But he's corrupt because he's had to be, because...
he's inherited a debt his father had with Sharon Stone. So he wants to be done with it. But then he tells her, I paid off my debt, we're done. And she goes, no, we're not. And she's painted to be like a ruthless maniac.
It reminded me of that line of Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio's in The Abyss. Sharon Stone as Lundina truly is a cast iron bitch.
Yeah. So she's like, well, we're going to kidnap the sheriff's son. So then we get another really good scene where Hutch rescues the son and, just like the first movie, destroys all of the money. He literally, in the same fashion, sets it all on fire. So that's how Sharon Stone has Hutch on her radar and comes to Plummerville to eradicate him.
But our first scene meeting Lendina is she owns a casino and she murders
some cheaters.
And then everybody that witnessed them.
I really think Sharon Stone should just do these kinds of roles because she's perfect for them moving forward.
She is. I mean,
we get a scene because someone is explaining Lendina's crazy, and then we get a scene of her just randomly dancing that I really enjoyed.
Well, you know, the funny thing is she seemed like she was having fun as well, which isn't always the case with Sharon.
I will say one aspect of the plot that hit me more in the second go round than in the first film is, does this family consider RZA their uncle?
Well, yeah.
Because he seems very disconnected, and then there is a moment where RZA kind of walks in on his niece and nephew, and he says, like, hey, nephew, and they just look at him like... I wish he were more integrated into the family, because the dad is very much a part of their family.
Right.
But then I guess RZA's character is supposed to be like a lone wolf. Even in the first film and in this film, he's been off traveling. And...
Well, he's in Japan exploring... I don't even remember his dialogue. It was something about Eastern theology, meditation.
Of course, the final showdown is fun in the amusement park where they have set all these booby traps just like the first film. And then we get sort of a final showdown between Sharon Stone and Connie Nielsen with Celine Dion's Power of Love playing that I thought was a really good use of that song. Because also, I think a side plot is that because in the first film, it was very clear that Hutch and Becca's marriage is rocky. Like they've lost that love and feeling. And in this one, it seems like they've reconnected a bit. Well,
except, you know, now with the sequel, we've expanded on this universe of Hutch. And his family, the way they're treating him, especially Connie Nielsen's Becca, seems so raggedy in the first one. Like, she didn't care to have a conversation with him. Like, do you miss your old life? Because if she really knows what he came from, like, are you fine working for my shitty ass father, played by Michael Ironside, like in the first film? Like, it just seems like we're kind of puzzling this together as we move forward. That wasn't the original part of the lore.
Yeah, maybe, but I do enjoy seeing them happier, and you know, I would be down for a Nobody 3 where it's really a family affair because we see that the son ends up killing a bad guy.
Well, it seems like he's following in his father's footsteps.
Yeah, so I would totally be interested in watching another one where they're all into it.
There were points where I thought the theme park segment could have been more elevated. You know, it's the third act, all the explosive action moments you think are going to happen then. There's a moment with a hall of mirrors that I'm like, oh, this is going to give us a Lady from Shanghai moment, but that ends very quickly. I thought it was amusing that in Odenkirk's house where you see posters of the Forever Purge and Darkman.
Mm-hmm. That being said, I did enjoy this just as much as I did the first one. What would you give Nobody 2?
Maybe I like it more than the first one, but they're really kind of the same film.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it the same score that I give that, which is 3.5. I
agree. I think it's very good. I would give it 3.5 out of 5. Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.